Okay, let's get into it. Today, we're unpacking a single piece of gear, the Blustream IP300UHD-RX video receiver. And for you listening, our mission is to figure out how this one box solves, well, maybe the biggest challenge in modern video distribution. How do you push a full, uncompromised 18 gigabit per second 4K signal over a standard 1 gigabit network?
I mean, it's the classic AV paradox, isn't it? You have this fire hose of data from a 4K 60 hertz 4.4.4 source, and you're trying to squeeze it through what is essentially a garden hose in comparison. And the promise here from Blustream isn't just that they can do it, but that they can do it with virtually zero latency.
Virtually zero.
We're talking one single frame of delay, which is basically imperceptible. That's critical for anything with fast motion.
So how do they pull off that magic trick? How do you shrink 18 gigs down to 1 without the picture just, falling apart?
That's the core tech. It's something called visually lossless compression. It's not like the heavy compression you see for, say, streaming video, which is all about small file sizes.
Yeah.
This is different.
Different how?
Well, the priority here is pristine image quality and, crucially, avoiding those latency spikes that just ruin the experience.
And they're not cutting corners on the video specs to get there. The documentation says it supports full 4K UHD 60 hertz 4.4.4.
Right. And all the important HDR formats, including Dolby Vision in its low latency mode, or LLM.
Okay, so the bandwidth problem is solved, but what about the physical install, the actual flexibility on the ground?
That's the next piece of the puzzle. Over standard CCAT cable, you get 100 meters, which is, pretty standard and very useful.
But that's not all, right?
Not at all. And this is where it gets really smart. They included an SFP port.
So you can use fiber.
Exactly. And that just blows the doors off the distance limitations. You can connect buildings, cover a huge venue, whatever you need.
I also saw it has 2 RJ45 ports. What's the second one for?
That's the LAN loop out. It means you can daisy chain these receivers together. It's a huge deal for wiring. For a one-to-many setup, you don't need a home run cable from the switch to every single display. You just link them.
It's super convenient, and that convenience extends to power, too. It runs on PoE, power over Ethernet, right from the switch.
Yep. Though they do have a 24-volt power supply option if your switch doesn't provide PoE, so you're covered either way.
Okay, so let's talk about what I think is often the biggest headache in these big installs: compatibility.
Oh, for sure. The classic nightmare. You've got one new shiny 4K display, but then you also have 5 older 1080p screens in the system.
And historically, that meant dumbing the entire system down to the lowest common denominator. Everyone gets 1080p.
Which brings us to probably the most important feature on this device.
The onboard scaling chipset.
That's the so what. That little chip is a full 18 GBp's HDMI scaler. It lets the receiver take in that beautiful 4K source, but then it can downscale the output on the fly to perfectly match whatever display it's plugged into.
So the 4K screen gets 4K, and the 1080p projector next to it gets a perfectly scaled 1080p signal, all from the same source.
Precisely. No compromises. And that same scaling tech is what lets you build really precise, complex video walls.
And this all works across its different modes, right? Matrix, video wall, or just a simple extender.
Correct. And they claim the system size is, and I quote, virtually unlimited.
Wow.
And it goes beyond just the picture. They've built in a whole control layer.
You mean the IR and RS-232?
That, and also USB KVM, so you can route keyboard, video, and mouse control. That's a huge feature for professional and command and control type settings.
And what about audio?
Fully supported. All the high-end formats you'd expect. Dolby Atmos, True HD, DTS HD Master Audio. It just passes it all through.
And I notice it has an analog audio output, too.
A small detail, but a lifesaver. It lets you break out the audio and send it to a separate sound system that might not have an HDMI input.
So when you connect all these dots, what you really have is a unified platform. It's video, it's control, it's high-end audio. It seems to simplify these really complex 4K rollouts quite a bit.
It does. It basically gives the installer permission to say yes to more complex jobs without needing a massive infrastructure overhaul. So here's the thought I want to leave you with. Given that unlimited system size claim and this ability to seamlessly mix and match old and new displays, how does this tech fundamentally change the scope, maybe even the ambition, of what a single installer can now confidently design and manage in, say, a huge corporate campus or a sprawling public venue? That's something to chew on.